Welcome to the Jack and Joe Show. We talk about property, business, and everything in between. Hosted by Jack Heskin-Taylor and Joe McCarthy. Sharing the stories of entrepreneurs, property investors, and our journey to health, wealth, and happiness.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Jack and Joe Show. Here with Dave Goodfellow again. This is going to be Dave's full episode. We're going to dive deep into Dave's background.
Ooh.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
you might regret this one.
Get all the details, all the secrets. Okay, Dave, if you want to start us off, just talk a bit about your background.
Okay.
Let everyone know what you did before serviced accommodation, how you got into it, and all the bits.
Yeah, okay, so my background, I suppose, I started off my career, I'll go further back than that. So I went to university. I can't even remember the year that was. But I got kind of 6 months into university, and it wasn't for me.
Really?
So, yeah, I shipped myself up to Dundee. I got on a master's course, which was supposed to be like 5 years or something like that.
Right.
I got about 6 months in, and I was like, I've got no money, I can't get a job anywhere, I'm living like a bum. And I was always used to, before that, sort of earning money.
Yeah.
So I worked at a job in Sainsbury's, and every time I had a summer holiday, I used to always go out and do a bit of grafting for somebody, whether it was tiling or labouring or something. So I always had a pot of money somewhere to kind of satisfy my hobbies, wherever that might be. Some weird hobbies I've had as well, but we won't go into that. It's probably not for
Save that for another
probably
podcast.
not for this episode. So yeah, I went from uni. I kind of quit uni 6 months in, and I left that and I went to work for a company called Everest Home Improvements.
Okay.
A sort of national company, known as a premium brand within the UK. So I went to work for them at the age of 19. Started I booked services for them. So I did. So somebody called in with a maintenance issue with their window or their gutters or whatever that might be.
Yeah.
I'd kind of get the engineer and book them out, and they'd go and do that. So I did that for about 6 months, and then I was like, well, there could be some real good opportunities in this company.
Yeah.
So I wrote to the HR director at the time, and I was like, look, I want to progress. I want to make something of myself. Is there anything that I can do within this business to get myself pushed forward?
Yeah.
And and I also applied for a role that I knew was well out of my reach.
Yeah.
I was an installation manager at the time. I was like 19. The average age of an installation manager was probably like 35 to 40. And that sounded really old then, but that's me now. And I ended up getting an interview, but with the HR director.
Yeah.
Which was really good for me, because I got to meet them, and then I kind of did a bit of a presentation to them of what I wanted to do, and then they offered me a management training program.
Nice.
So I went through that management training program. It was supposed to take 2 years. I did it in, I think it was 18 months. Then they offered me a job as an installation manager when I was about 21. Yeah, maybe 2021. So I was the youngest doing that job in the company at the time. And then I won't bore you with the details. I stayed with that company for 15 years.
Okay.
And worked my way up from an installation manager to a regional operations manager.
Nice.
I was running about £30 million worth of business.
Yeah. Where was that? In Chester?
No, well, I did all over the country, so I dotted about. It's probably not a place in the country I haven't been working for.
Really, yeah, so you're all over
So
there.
yeah, I just opened myself up and dotted myself about. Anywhere they wanted me to go, I was always on it.
Yeah.
If you want me to go there, no problem, I'll do it.
Nice.
Sweet.
And I ended up being a troubleshooter for them, so any branches that they had that were underperforming, I'd go in.
Right.
I'd
Okay.
hire, fire, do all that sort of stuff with them as well. So I just worked all over the place. And then at the end of my 15 years, I was a regional ops manager, running about £30 million worth of business. And then I got an offer from a small, an SME, so a small to medium enterprise, in Reading. And that was a really interesting job. So I went to work for them for a couple of years. And what they did was we used to do really high-end shutters on people's properties. So we used to go and work on like billionaires or millionaires' properties in the centre of London, and we used to fit shutters while they either to their property externally, or we used to, as they were building it, build them into the lintel systems in the house.
Yeah.
And some of the properties I used to see there, and some of the money was just unbelievable. We did this one particular house on Primrose Hill, and just I think the guy was like some sort of hedge fund manager, and I just thought, wow. But he had a background in property as well. Mm-hmm. And every house that I went to, or every place that I went to, it was like, what does this guy do? Some of them were like Russian mafia, I think.
Really,
yeah. We weren't allowed to know what they did. But when you found out what the guys do, everybody had some sort of property background.
Really, yeah.
And I was like, what's going on to something here? What's going on?
Yeah.
So I stayed there for a couple of years. My missus fell pregnant. I say my missus, my fiance. She's my fiance, but we've been like together for like 13 years. And I proposed to her 12 years ago, I think it was. Still haven't made an honest woman of her, but we will do at some point. She fell pregnant, and I was at the stage in my life where I was going away on a Sunday evening, and I was coming back on a Friday evening. I'd be like a zombie until Sunday afternoon again, because I was working like 14, 15 hours a day. Yeah. I'd start brightening up, and then I'd be back off down to Reading again. So I was just like, look, we've got to change this. I've got to do something different. I'm quite interested in property, and we'd already kind of done 3 or 4 flips, but like we didn't know they were flips at that time. We were just buying properties that, you know, were below market value. Yeah. We didn't know that phrase then. We were going to auctions. I tell you what, I'll tell you a story about the first property I bought, because it's quite interesting. So it was about 8 years ago now. I bought. Well, let me go back a step. So I found 2 properties on a street in Chester called Ermine Road, in Hoole. Really good area. There was a 6-bed HMO and a 5-bed HMO, I think it was at the time. Maybe they were both 6-bed HMOs. So I said to my missus, right, you go to the auction and you place the bid for me, but don't go above 80,000 on that property. It's the cap, right? So. And remember, there was 2 on the street. So, on the day, I phoned her at lunchtime, and I said, right, how did you get on? She said, I've got one, Dave. That's great. I said, fantastic. How much did you pay for it? 115. And I was like, didn't we say cap it at 80,000? And she was like, yeah. But my dad said, we can't miss it for that. So what was my next question? How much did the other one go for? How much do you reckon it went for?
80
grand. And I was like, okay. She said, but it's much better property than that. Okay, anyway, it is what it is. So I got a 6-bed HMO on this street.
Really, yeah.
And again, I didn't know what I know now. So we converted it back into a house. Okay. Which, knowing what I know now, is a bit crazy. Because what I should have done is kept it as a 6 or 7-bed HMO. Yeah. Done it up, revalued it, took all my money out, and then had it cash flowing for me for the last 8 years. Which you don't know what you don't know, do you? Yeah. So that was my first property that I bought, and we actually did all right out of it. We ended up converting it back into a house, and we made 30k on it. Okay. So even though we made all those mistakes, we still made money. Still made money. Yeah. So, and then we did that on like 2 or 3 others. 3 or 4 others. 4 others. But not knowing what we were doing in property. And I was still kind of working at the same time. Yeah. I'd project managed some of it. Lucy would go and do a couple of them as well. And she did really well at it, actually. She was probably better than me at it. So then I was working away, and I just thought to myself, right, I've got to get out of this. I can't be away from, 1, my missus, and 2, my little girl. I don't want to miss my little girl growing up. Mm-hmm. So I started looking on the internet about property, and then I come across Rob Moore and his book Money, and that's when I started really. So I was listening to his Audible money book on my long journeys, and then once I'd done that one, you know, they pop up with all the others the other stuff, because I bought Audible. I pay like a subscription every month.
Yeah.
And what it did was it then started popping up with all this other stuff like Property Secrets and all the other juicy stuff that he'd done. It's like, bloody hell, I'm onto something here. Just I listened to them all and started getting involved and understanding a bit more about all the different strategies and but then in a book or on an Audible it's not really that you don't get to know everything. They're great as a stepping stone, but you know. So then what I did is I found out that he run Progressive Property, so I contacted Progressive Property. Then I got put on what they call a discovery day. You just get, you know what they're like. You've been on them. You've been on MSOP. That's where you two met,
that's
right?
Where we met.
Okay, so you know the script with Progressive Property. They're great. They're a great company. They do sell hard, but they've got some really good courses. So I went on the discovery day anyway, and I got upsold like you do, and I ended up booking the masterclass for I think it was March. May 2017.
Okay.
No, what we in now? No, May 2018. So I went on this 4-day course, and you got to learn all these different strategies. And by the end of it, you know what it's like. You come out there, you're buzzing. And you're like, I'm going to take over the world. This, that, and the other. And at that point, because I'd been doing flips and it was comfortable for me, I kind of thought that was what I was going to go into. So I went on the masterclass course, and we had a couple of properties as well that we were doing buy-to-lets with, as well as doing the flips over an 8-year period going back. So I come out of that course and I was like, right, I'm going to do flips. So I went on a flip course. The flip course I went on, I kind of knew everything already because I've been doing it, and I found most of the people that were on the course were people who wanted to learn about doing them, not actually in the process of doing them. So we went back to the after I come out of that course, there was all sorts of different things. You know, serviced accommodation was probably the buzzword back then. And they keep saying serviced accommodation's the buzzword now. It's been that for the last 2 years. It's not like it's not like the new thing. So everywhere you go, when people stand up and they go, "Yeah, I'm looking to get into serviced accommodation," doing that for years. It's not a new thing. It's new to property, I suppose. So even though it's only been 2 years, it's still the buzzword now. So I had two buy-to-let properties. We still got one buy-to-let, but one of them I was having problems with the tenant. She'd been in there for like 2.5 years, no issues at all. She lost her job. She owed me a load of money. I think it's about 3.5 grand. She still owes me. I can't find her. She vacated the property, and I was like, right, this is my opportunity. It was in the centre of Chester. I used to live in it. I'll have to take you there at some point, show you.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's a 3-bed townhouse right in the centre of Chester. Fantastic. It had parking at the front, little garden at the back, beautiful property. So she went, and I thought, right, this is my opportunity to have a crack at serviced accommodation. Didn't deal analyse it because I didn't know what that was at the time. But just had a gut feel for it that it would work. I'm not condoning not deal analysing stuff, by the way. You must deal analyse everything. If I've taken a property on which we're offloading this year because I didn't deal analyse it, and it was in the wrong area. We kind of broke even on it this year, but none of us are in the business to break even, right? That property, Wharf View in Chester, I changed into serviced accommodation. So after being in Reading for 2 years, I handed my notice in and I wanted to come back up north. So I phoned my old boss from Everest and said, look, I've had enough down here, I want to come back up. Because I knew my old job, because I knew it like the back of my hand. I could do it in like 4 or 5 hours a day. I went back to there and I'm working on my serviced accommodation business deal, trying to find deals, etc. The rest of the time. So I took my property in Wharf View, went back to Everest, changed that into serviced accommodation, got it set up with a managing agent because I wasn't going to manage it myself. Then put that into where it is in November last year. And since then, we've grown from one property in November 2018, and we took on about a property a month over the last year.
Nice.
We're up to 12 properties now. Next year's, and we've took on a mix of properties.
All in Chester?
No. So one's in Frodsham, which is 20 miles outside of Chester.
Okay.
Which is the one that we're offloading. It's not part of our criteria that we have for that area.
Yeah.
It's a bit too far out of the way, and if we analysed it now, we'd be like, nah, we don't want that. But we didn't at the time. Albeit that was our first property that we got with a letting agent, and it opened the doors for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when I think back to it, it opened the doors to us. They couldn't get rid of it, and we were like, "Yeah, we'll take it."
Yeah.
Like, what did we do that for? Anyway, but again, that opened the doors to us to our first letting agent. Now, half of the properties that we've got have come from that letting agent.
Okay. So it was the start of that relationship.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it was worth taking the deal on, like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I still say to my business partner to this day, like, if we hadn't have taken that on, then we may not have had all the others that followed.
Yeah.
And it was a really good relationship build. And I say to him, well, if we were to pay for training, we can call Woolly Close, which is the property, we can call that our training money, if you like. We haven't lost on it. We haven't gained on it. But that was our first avenue into the letting agent, which we learned how to do company let agreements. We learned how to speak to them. We learned how to do our story with them, and all the other stuff that you do as part of your process.
Yes. So can you run us through like the next deal after that? Then was that based in Chester?
So what was our next deal after that? The next deal after that was with another letting agent.
Okay.
And that was 3 studio apartments.
Nice.
We stupidly went out and took four units on in a weekend.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of furniture to organise.
Four units. Well, it sounds a lot worse than it is. So the 3 studio apartments were through a letting agent, but they were already furnished.
Oh, okay.
They were already set up as serviced accommodation, but they were being managed really poorly.
Really?
Right.
And we could see that when we went in and looked at them. They were dirty. They were,
Right.
we went online and they were getting bad reviews about them not being cleaned properly, and
Okay.
stuff the duvets and the pillows being uncomfortable, and that's why they weren't getting any bookings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were like, we've got a couple on board already. We know we've got our management's okay.
Yeah.
Let's give these a whirl. We think we can make these work, and they were lovely. They were really nice looking studios, and they pictured really well.
Yeah.
I've shown you them actually. Have you seen the studios?
Which
I've
ones?
shown you the studios we've got. Anyway,
I think we should.
Sure.
I'll show you at some point. So we took them on, and we took them on, and another property, it was a 3-bed. It was a 3-bedroom terrace house in Chester, in Hoole again.
Yeah.
It was on the opposite road of Ermine Road, where I'd stupidly got rid of the 6-bed. And we took all 4 of those on in a weekend, and we had to, well, we took all 4 on, and then I went on holiday and left to my business to sort out all the stuff. So he was phoning me like every day.
Oh Lord.
I can't remember where I was. I think I might have been in my second deal. I think I did in Barbados over the.
Did you? Yeah.
Over like a video call or something.
Living the dream.
Yeah,
Setting
yeah.
up serviced accommodation.
So I looked like I was flying at the time.
Not taking
No,
photos on Instagram.
I wasn't really. I was like, typical sort of, the Facebook advertising. Yeah, I'm in Barbados setting up deals. Not the second one, but I think I was. Yeah, my business partner just had to go and do it all. Bless him. He cracked on with it and got it done though.
Yeah.
What are you whinging for?
Outsourced.
I'm doing the same to him in January this year as well. There's a couple that we've got to set up, and he's like, I'm off. Before the days where we were getting furnishing companies to come in and just do everything for us. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to know. I suppose when you start out, you've got to understand the process and know what to get for the properties and go through it yourself before you can offload it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So where did we get to? So that was kind of February, March. January, February, March, we kind of took on another. So what did we do? So we had Wharfview, we had Woolly Close, and then we had another 4 in a weekend. So we had 6 properties by sort of March March time last year.
Yeah.
March, April last year we had 6 properties. And they were all, one was owned, so I owned Wharfview, that was my property. The rest of them were all rent-to-rent deals. And that's why I was getting to with the letting agents. Letting agents are your friends at the beginning.
Yeah.
They'll give you the deals, as long as you get in with the right ones, set up the company let agreements for you, and you have to tweak a few bits in them yourselves. But yeah, it's always good to get in with just a couple. Don't spread yourself too thinly, because getting with a couple, you guys have done the same thing, right?
Yeah, we've been into quite a few agents now, starting to actually get somewhere now, and getting on first name basis, and actually having the good crack with them and sitting down with them and stuff.
I'll give you a little tip with agents, right?
Yeah.
So when I go into a new letting agent now, or an estate agent,
yeah,
I always go in and I'll speak to the estate agent, because the letting agent is always sat where next to them.
Yeah.
You go into them, the estate agent, letting agent.
Yeah.
So I'll go in and I'll speak to the estate agent. And because we've got a few properties now, I'll say to the estate agent, look, I've got a serviced accommodation business. I was wondering if we could help you out. Do you ever have any delayed completions, because people can't get out of their property, and they can't get anything less than a six month AST?
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, we have it all the time. I was like, well, I might be able to help you out with that.
Yeah.
And I'm talking really loudly as I'm saying it, so the letting agent's listening.
Yeah.
So we could help you out with that. I have a serviced accommodation business. We've got X amount of properties in Chester. Here's my website. This is the stuff that we do. If you ever get that again, don't think that the people can't get out of their properties, because we can put people up from 2 nights up to however long they want to be there for.
Yeah.
And it's not an AST contract, they pay by the night.
Yeah.
And he said, well, DL, that's perfect. Let me take your card.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, the letting agent's listening in, and they say, what is it that you do?
Yeah.
And then you're in.
Yeah.
So what you're not doing is going in and saying, have you got any properties for me?
Yeah.
And what I always do, it's a psychology thing. So when you say to people that you're not really interested, they want more of you.
Yeah.
So I'll speak to the estate agent. When the letting agent comes over and says, what do you do? I said, oh, we do serviced accommodation. He says, do you rent any? I said, well, yeah, but we're not really looking to expand that side of our business at the moment. Well, at that point, they want some of you.
Yeah.
It's crazy how the
Reverse
brain,
psychology
how
or
the
something.
brain works. So I do that when I go in now.
Yeah.
But you've got to have a bit of credibility behind you to be able to do that and be able to show them a website and all that. But there's a little tip. And you've got like 2 or 3 now, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got 2 and we're managing the third for someone else. Yeah.
So you've got 3. Do that and see how it works out for you and let me know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's a really good... Well, I find it works for me. So it's a 2-bed terraced house in Hoole again, in Chester. And what I did with that is I went through Open Rent.
Yeah.
Contacted her through that with the proviso that I was going to go and do it, going to rent it off her.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went there, I kind of went through the whole process. Took the deal analyzer with me, and I gave her the 2 options. I said we can do a guaranteed rent scheme at, I can't remember how much it was now. It was about £750 a month,
Right.
where she would make about 300 quid because of her mortgage.
Yeah.
Or here's the management service that we do. These are the numbers. This is the money that you could make. This is what you could have had. Talked her through the benefits of capital allowances, Section 24, which to her was really good because she had it in her personal name.
Okay.
She had a mortgage on the property where she wasn't able to offset the
Yeah.
interest.
Interesting.
She hadn't claimed any capital allowances on the property, but she'd done a refurb on it, so she could offset that, and it all kind of fell in place really. And it was like one of those, one of those deals that just goes perfectly well, and you're like, I can't believe that just happened. It was one of the first ones I went out to as well. I ended up talking to her for ages, and anyway, she ended up wanting to go down the management service route, which was great for us. It was our first one. So the first month the first month we took her on, she had 3 times her net income she was getting previously.
What?
3 times. And she was like quite happy with that.
Yeah.
Obviously. We did well out of it as well, we got a decent we charge 15% for our management contracts.
Yeah.
So we got 15% of the uplift, and she got 3 times the amount of what she was getting.
It's a win-win.
Win-win situation, absolutely. And that's carried on, and it's got over the summer months. It was in the summer that she got that.
Yeah.
You know. But over the summer months, it got better and better, and it died off a little bit in November and December. But it's still good money. She's still getting probably double the amount what she was getting before, which is
Decent,
good, right?
yeah. Good, yeah.
You'd be happy with double,
Yeah,
wouldn't
you would, yeah.
So yeah, that was the first management deal we did. So around that sort of time as well, that's when I was kind of coming to the end of my career in my job. So my JOB, just over broke, they call it, don't they, I think. And I'd had a plan to kind of leave. Me and my business partner did a business plan at the beginning of the year, January, and we were like, right, so if we get X amount of properties, we want to get 14 by the end of the year. They're going to give us X amount of net income. Mm-hmm. So the date that we need to do this by is here. It was October the 6th, which was my birthday. Okay. Birthday cards, bring them in. Quite happy for you to send them in. So I built this business plan around me finishing work on the 6th of October, 2019. So I actually left work on the 30th of March, 2019.
Yeah.
For a number of different reasons, which are undisclosable. No, I'm just joking. So I left my job a lot earlier than expected, and I got into it full time. Yeah. So at that point we were like, right, well, we were getting somebody else to manage it for us, and we were paying them around about £2,000 a month just to manage our properties. And the person that was managing it was had 70 properties, and we were like, well, he's spending about 10% of his time, because we had 7 properties at the moment at that time on our properties. Can you imagine if we spent £2,000 on something? What could we get? They'd be spending 100% of their time on our properties. So we were like, right, what could we do next? So that's when we started getting into doing, started building our own processes and getting into our own management. And we did some training through some really good training providers, and they showed us how to build the systems, because the systems part of our business was where we thought we could make it or break it.
Yeah.
So at that point we got a load of systems. We actually used probably 70% of the systems that they gave us.
Yeah.
And then we went out and got our own stuff off the open market and used, like I said before, the best in class kind of software systems and tied them into our business as well. And that took about three months to set up. Right, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
So from the beginning of July, we set all our own systems up. We only had 7 properties at the time. We integrated those properties into our new system. And in the first month we increased our revenue by 30%.
Nice.
Just by doing a couple of little things. Using our own systems and getting back to guests really quickly. Cutting it down from using like 7 or 8 OTAs to 2. And we were going up the listings in them all. We were getting really great reviews. So again, we were going up in the listings. But the one change that we made that was the biggest thing that kind of brought revenue into our business was me ringing customers. So I think you've probably seen it in the WhatsApp group and the Facebook pages, but I've got a 6 or 7, forget, I should know this, 6 or 7 stage process of how to get direct bookings.
Yeah.
And I just follow that process. On every customer that we get from Airbnb and Booking.com, make a phone call to them, speak to them, and just ask them a number of different questions, make sure they're happy with the property, and then ask them a very simple question. What are you in the area for? Is it business or is it leisure? If it's leisure, they're not likely to be coming back. If it's business, they're likely to be coming back. And generally, when you go somewhere for business, it's a long period of time, isn't it? Especially if they're like contractors or something like that.
Yeah.
So if they're coming back, I would just say to them, look, if I could do this for you at 5% cheaper than what you paid this week, would you book with us again next week? And how many weeks ahead are you staying for?
Yeah.
Ended up getting like bookings for like 3 or 4 months.
Nice.
Yeah. Lovely.
Direct bookings. Well, you're not paying the OTAs. And that was probably the biggest uplift that we had, because we were kind of securing the people who were just looking for the best deals on the market and going elsewhere every week, speaking to their bosses and saying, look, we'll do you a deal and we'll do it for X amount of time or for as long as you're here. And we got loads of business off the back of that.
Lovely.
Just by that very simple phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah, July we took on another rent-to-rent deal, which was a great property. Again, that flew out in the first month. Again, putting it through our systems. And then in September, one of the letting agents that we built relationships with came to us with a block of 3 apartments, and we were like, great, this is what we want to get into. You know, we went direct to, they introduced us to the landlord, we then did a deal direct with them. They furnished the place for us. We got a really good deal on these 3 apartments, again right in the centre of Chester, all 2-bedroom apartments. And they fly out because they're all brand new. It was he'd actually done a commercial conversion. Didn't really know he was doing a commercial conversion. But he changed an office block into 3 2-bed apartments. Really nice apartments, centre of Chester, walking distance to town. And at that time, I was kind of looking around LinkedIn. So I found a CEO of a really big company in Chester on LinkedIn. Contacted them and they messaged me back, and I was like, oh, that's never happened before. He said, speak to my PA and we'll see what we can do. And we put that person into our apartment, and he comes back every 2 weeks for 14 days.
Wow.
But the great thing about it was they're a really big business, and they had loads of other people coming to us. So since September this year, they've spent probably about 20 grand with us.
Wow.
And that was just by me being cheeky on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah. But I suppose it was, I'd like to say it was all planned, but all the ones that we took on in the summer, they weren't really planned. They just all kind of landed on us.
Yeah.
Because you know the summer's like the
prime time.
prime time. I mean, August is like, you think all your Christmases have come at once in August. you always see in August all the SA providers, like, fantastic SA, like, making all this money. You never hear of them in the winter. Yeah. They're all dead quiet. But
So going forward, what are your plans in business going forward? Any plans for next year?
Yeah, we've got a number of different plans for next year. So next year's all about, you've heard me talk about a lot of rent-to-rent deals.
Yeah.
So, and that was the plan, you know, we wanted to build cash flow, we wanted to replace our wages for me and my business partner. Yeah. Which we're there. I say we're there. We're not quite getting the same wages as what we were when we were working, but we've built up enough to both satisfy what we want to do.
Yeah.
And next year's all about growing our management service.
Okay.
I've got about 24 deals lined up for next year already, for people who are either refurbing their properties, and they've got a plan through next year when they're all going to come on board. So if I stopped now, we'd take another 24 on next year.
Okay.
That's managed services. I wouldn't want to take another 24 rent-to-rent deals on, but that's just where we are in our business.
Yeah.
But we're also one of our really exciting, exciting for me because it's something that I love doing, is training people and mentoring and coaching.
Yeah.
So we're setting up a training business called IKONIC Training Academy, and we're going to do 3 packages on that. We're going to do a 12-month business academy. So somebody who doesn't know anything about serviced accommodation, wants to know everything there is from start to finish. We're going to help them build a business. They'll come on board with us. They'll start with company structure. They'll tie into all of our power team, and throughout the process of a year, at the end of it, they'll have a cash flow in business where they can go off on their own and run it themselves. Yeah. So that's the first package, and again, that's really aimed at people that are in work. So where me and my business partner were 12 months ago. Yeah. And how you can build up a cash flow to get you out of work and just have your minimum payment to cover your needs, and then build a wage off the back of it and have a business at the end of it. Yeah. Because we all know running serviced accommodation is it is like it's a business.
Yeah,
You've got
it
the
is,
customer service side of it. You've got all sorts of moving parts to it that when a lot of people get into it, they don't realise that it can be a headache if you haven't got your system set up properly. So we're going to do that for people over a 12-month period. Then our second package is a 6-month period where it might be people like yourselves that have got, 3-4 units set up where you just want to learn more.
Yeah.
You want to build. You want to learn how to take more properties on. How to speak to developers, how to get more rent-to-rent deals on board, what to do with letting agents, and then also build the system around your business that's going to help you guys outsource everything.
Yeah.
Taking on virtual assistants, telling you what applications to use and tying them all into each other and making sure it all talks and makes things easy.
Yeah.
I can tell you two want to buy it already. You're in.
Where do we
You're in.
sign up?
You can tell I'm a salesman, can't you? And then we're going to do a 3-month package, which is just literally around our systems.
Okay.
Yep, so it's a system builder, and that will tie you into. We'll show you how to build the systems. We'll come and help you build the systems around your business that you've already got that's already working, and that's for people who are, they may have 6 or 7 properties and they're kind of pulling their hair out at the moment because they haven't outsourced everything.
Trying to do everything themselves.
Yeah, so it'd be like recruiting VAs, putting all the systems in place, making sure they all talk to each other, and having a fully systemised business where you've got processes for everything,
Yeah.
and videos and all that sort of stuff. So that's the exciting thing that we're doing next year.
Yeah.
And then I've got one last thing, another thing that I'd like to get into, which is a commercial conversion. So I offered on a 500 square metre office block,
Nice.
which is very close to one of our other apartments that we've got.
Really, yeah.
Yep. Or it's across the road from it. And I've made an offer on that, and I get to know mid-January whether that offer's accepted. So if I get that, that'll be 9 or 10 apartments for next year. That'll be a project that I'll sit in and run as well.
Brilliant.
So they're the three main areas. So the management service, the training company, and a
Commercial conversion.
A large commercial conversion in my eyes. It might be small to some people, but it's a big one for me.
Yeah,
Lovely. Exciting times.
I know, yeah.
All exciting times, yeah.
Brilliant.
All
Well,
good.
you'll have to let us come down, have a nosy when you get it.
Absolutely. Anytime, boys. Anytime.
That'll be crack of that, won't it?
100%, yeah. Be very
Excited.
interesting.
Am I excited?
Yeah.
I'm ecstatic. I mean, this year's all been about kind of setup, getting things into a place where you can outsource stuff.
Yeah.
And now we're in that position, and we've been able to kind of offload some stuff to other people and not be in the business sort of full time ourselves. We are able to do that now. So I'm really excited about next year. Yeah,
Brilliant.
it's nice to be in that place.
Yeah, it is, but
Definitely.
very,
Definitely.
very good place to be in.
Excellent. Is there any advice that you give to someone starting out new that would be looking to kind of go down that journey, leave their full-time job? What would be 1 or 2 bits of advice that
It
you
would
give
be
them?
silly of me not to say get a mentorship and get some training,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I
Who
mean,
did you use? Did you have a bit of a mentor to start, or for someone for training?
yeah, so it was progressive property for me. I mean, the community there was great. We also used a systems guy who was fantastic, a guy called David Diak.
Oh, yeah.
He helped us build the base of our system, and then we kind of expanded stuff on top of it, but he was a diamond. He was really good.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, very good guy, and really kind of hands-on with you as well, so you were able to go to him and he'd answer all the questions, and that was really good for us.
Nice.
But I mean, my advice to somebody starting out who doesn't really know what they're doing, don't just jump into it with both feet. Get a mentor, get some training, make sure you build your processes up properly, and because you don't go out there and make the mistakes that everybody else makes. Don't reinvent the wheel, because there's somebody else out there that's already been there and done it. So just go out and get it off of them, and it'll be a much quicker process for you, and you'll make money a lot quicker. I wish I'd done it at the beginning, to be honest, because we kind of jumped in 2 feet, and although Wolfview did really well, we had the Woolly Close in Frodsham that we're offloading this year because we jumped into that without de-analysing it and did all the market research and all the stupid stuff that we shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But we've made the mistakes over
It's a learning curve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But get mentored, get trained, be successful.
Yeah.
That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Love
that's
it,
good.
yeah.
Definitely get that one in.
That's the iconic strapline, that, isn't it? Yeah.
I forgot what it was already. Get mentored, get trained,
Be successful.
be successful.
With
Boom.
IKONIC.
With IKONIC.
So again, where can people find you? Where can they get in contact with you?
Yeah.
Right, so anybody who wants to contact me, more than happy to give you my email address. So that's Dave@IKONIC with a K, IKONIC, online.com. You can also join me on Facebook. That's Dave IKONIC. Anybody who wants to be involved in the SA community group, more than happy for you to come onto that. If you friend request me on Facebook and send me a message to say you've been listening to this podcast, we'll add you to our closed group so you can come in and ask any advice on there. And a mobile number. Should I give my mobile number?
I don't know
That's
about that one.
Don't know about that. All over YouTube.
We'll cut it there.
Perfect.
Thanks very much,
Yeah,
Dave.
it's been a pleasure,
stuff,
Dave.
mate.
Thanks very much for joining us here.
You too.
Perfect.
See you later.
Perfect. See you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
We talk about property, business, and everything in between. Hosted by Jack Heskin-Taylor and Joe McCarthy. Sharing the stories of entrepreneurs, property investors, and our journey to health, wealth, and happiness.